Good day, class! Let me first introduce myself. My name is Erjan Sivaldes and you can call me Sir Erin. I am your English teacher for today. And for today's discussion, we will be talking about the modal auxiliaries and related phrasal forms. Before proceeding to our discussion, here are the learning outcomes of this lesson. The student should know the modals and phrasal modals. The student should learn how to use modals and phrasal modals properly. And lastly, the students should know when our modals and phrasal modals are appropriate to use. And now let us go on to our discussion. Modals. Modals are used by speaker to interject their own perspective and view a proposition more subjectively than when they simply use present or past tense. Now let us compare these given sentences. Here are the examples of sentences that uses regular verbs. For example, John is a teacher. John was a teacher. We can see in these sentences that it only tells a fact that John is a teacher and John was a teacher. Now let us look at these examples of sentences that uses modal verbs. John may be a teacher. John may have been a teacher. We can now see the difference of using regular verbs and modal verbs. Modal verbs are used to show the perspective of the speaker that John may be a teacher and John may have been a teacher. So here are the examples of modal verbs. Can, will, may, and shall. Now it's your turn. Can you repeat again the modal verbs that I have said? Let me hear it from you. That's very good. Modals also have their present tense and past tense. Here are they. Can is could, will is would, may is might, shall is should, and must only has its past tense. After learning the present and past tense of modals, we will now discuss its phrasal modal counterparts. Phrasal modals. Phrasal modals are multi-word forms ending in infinitive to which function semantically like a true modal. It means that it can be used to substitute modals in sentences. Here are the modals and its phrasal modal counterparts. Can and could is be able to. Will and shall is be going to and be about to. Must is have to or have got to. Should is be to or be supposed to. Would is used to. May and might is be allowed to and be permitted to. So now, my question is, what can you notice about the difference of modals and phrasal modals? If your answer is the infinitive to, that is correct. All phrasal modals have the infinite to, while the modals do not have. For us to further understand the use of modals and phrasal modals, here are some examples. With modals, I will clean my room later. The modal will in this sentence can be replaced by its phrasal modal counterpart, which is be going to. For example, I am going to clean my room later. Another example with the use of modals is, my mother said I may use our car for tomorrow's party. The modal may used in this sentence can be replaced by its phrasal modal counterpart, which is be allowed to. For example, my mother said that I am allowed to use our car for tomorrow's party. In these examples, the meaning of the sentences didn't change despite of changing the modal into a phrasal modal. Modals are used for several reasons. First is to give a proposition a degree of probability. For example, I will be a billionaire someday. Second is to express one's attitude. For example, I can do this. The third reason is to perform social functions, such as expressing politeness or indirectness when making requests, giving advice, or granting permission. For example, may you please excuse us for a while? Next that we will discuss are the two functions of modals. The first function of modal is the epistemic meaning. Epistemic meaning expresses logical probability. For example, it may rain tomorrow. In this sentence, the modal verb may expresses a degree of logical probability that is weak rather than strong. The second functions of modals is the deontic function. Deontic function expresses a use related to social interaction. For example, you may leave the room. The modal verb may now expresses granting of permission and thus accomplishes a social interaction. And now we are done with our lesson. But before ending our discussion, let us first have a review of what we have learned today. What is modals? Very good. What are the modals? Very good. Now what is phrasal modals? That is very good. And lastly, what are the two functions of modals? That is very good again. And now that we are finally done with our discussion, I hope that you all learned from this topic, the modals and the phrasal modals. Thank you.